What does creativity mean to you?
That's tricky. It just kind of encompasses my everyday life.
Creativity is going to solve the world's problems and is probably at some point in your career going to help you get the job that you want.
If you think that you're creative, then you are much more likely to be creative.
So, what is creativity? Creativity is the use of imagination or original ideas, especially in the production of an artistic work. But it's much more than just a painting, a play, or a song. Creativity is all around us, even in the places you don't expect. Creativity is, in a way, used by everyone, every day. It's becoming imperative as our world shifts to a knowledge economy with a greater emphasis on immaterial labor and a loss of jobs due to the increasing presence of automation. The only thing that sets us apart from computers is our creativity, our ability to dream up a vision for the future. The problem is, not everyone understands how creativity is a part of their work.
I'm from like an art, well, not necessarily art, humanities type of background myself originally, so it's not necessarily like I've been like straight STEM my whole life.
Yet, our creativity is vital not only to the workplace, but to solving social problems. Our host, Isla Stebbins, will ask a series of questions that will reveal 3 unique perspectives on the definition of creativity and how it is used in different careers. The first thing we confirm is that everyday creativity still involves creativity.
I'm one of 7 full-time employees working at a children's science center and, hands-on STEM activities.
I work in the English department at Millersville University. I teach mostly digital media writing classes, and most of what I study is games, play, and digital media writing.
I do all of the party planning, creating the event schedule, and then doing the marketing as well. Shay, with executing events, she preps for all of the workshops.
What do you feel are the creative parts of your job?
Shay and I, we both really enjoy kind of coming up with new themes. We have to decorate the cupcakes and then take pictures of them to use for like the decorating cards and also to use for like advertising for our events.
Kind of my task is take STEM topics like electricity and then add a creative element to it. So it might be a workshop where you're making a wind turbine, or another activity that we do, which is called Scribblebots, which takes vibrating electric motors and just stick some markers on, and then you make it dance around on a table and it makes art. So it's like that simple sort of STEM concept, but then most of the intellectual energy is spent on like what you want to create.
So the professor that we interviewed for this, she uses those in a college classroom.
You still use the robots?
Yes, so I have to get really creative with what I do in the class from day to day. And so I do use Twitter for a lot of that, where let's do this thing and now record it, and then take those recordings and reflect on it. What does this show about your learning? And then once you've talked about that, how are you going to use that to write the essay, in this case, that you have due on Friday, or due on Saturday, or due on whatever day's coming up next? And then I created a card game. So we play a card game now to learn arguments. So it becomes this whole scaffolded process. But if I did the same thing every time, it would get boring. Creative thinking is a way of thinking and a process of thinking, but I think it's also a mindset. So how am I thinking, and how do I shortcut myself into that? And so that's where the play and the games come in.
What does creativity mean to you?
I think it's just like an exploration of like who you are underneath of everything.
3 main ideas around that topic. Mindset of being curious and not being afraid to take risks.
I always see creativity in everything we do with all writing. So I see it in social media, I see it in the ways that users use technology and adapt it to suit their needs. The fact that they find their own needs in technology, I would call all of that creative, and I would connect it very directly to writing. We have this want to communicate to people, and we want to communicate certain things to people in different groups, and we creatively find ways to continue to do that.
This was a significant observation of creativity as a means of human connection. Although the other interviews did not specifically describe creativity in this way, it can be understood in what they do in their professions. The makerspace educator found ways to communicate to his students, a specific group interested in science-related topics. He curated his communication and teaching techniques to suit the needs of his audience, children.
I guess I just have like a repository of ideas. You get those ideas and then you try them out in the classroom, and then over time you tweak things and suit it to your space and your materials.
The Like a Stir Cupcake employees communicate and curate workshops differently according to the group they are serving.
A lot of people that come have no experience, and it teaches them something new that they can take home with them.
So yeah, we kind of show them like the fundamentals of how to use the piping bag, how to use the different piping tips, and then on their tray they have several different sprinkles and different kind of mixes of stuff that they can use.
Finally, the professor keeps an open mind while she teaches so that she can design for each specific group of students.
I learn so much from my students, and I think that's a really important thing that faculty need to come into classes thinking. Like, I am going to get as much out of this as I hope you guys get from it as well. I still need to be open to all of that learning and all of those experiences, and then I need to design so that you guys have space for them.
Each of the participants were in a position where they could mentor or provide a knowledge base on which others can expand. With the right encouragement, others could then think outside the box and exercise their own creativity.
Confidence is important. So if you think that you're creative, then you are much more likely to be creative. So, part of my job is giving kids confidence to create and to be confident in their own creativity.
Once they learned how to make it, we'll show them how to make what the picture shows, but they're welcome to get as creative as they want, and often by the end they'll have several of their cupcakes that are their own masterpieces and not quite what's on the picture.
So how do I get students to get out of their comfort zone a little bit and experience and then reflect on so that they recognize, oh, this thing we just did makes sense, now I understand, and then get them to actively apply it to how they write.
Once people feel confident in their creativity, they have so much potential to change the world and solve larger problems faced by generations.
When I started exploring master's programs, I took a class in pop culture and writing, and that was when I was like, English is totally my thing. And the big thing, even with pop culture, that was really underlying writing and why writing matters so much is its connection to citizenship. So as citizens of a democracy, we have to create stuff, and we create it through voting. And becoming informed in how our government has, I would argue, very creatively restricted voting is really problematic and scary to me. So creativity got us into this mess, and now it's going to have to get us out of it. Because I would say Ford and the Ford model of industrialism was very creative.
Oh, yeah.
And even before that, the factory model was very creative and very new. And then when workers started realizing, we need to pay attention to the health of workers, unions became important and creative, and child protection laws became important and creative. And we faculty need to be better at that. Like, creativity is going to solve the world's problems and is probably at some point in your career going to help you get the job that you want. That's why you're in this class right now. So yes, we're learning this basic, but it's the how to think like, whatever is here, how to remember the humans, that's going to help you turn your major plus your gen eds into your dream job that's gonna fix everything.
So would you say creativity is
A superpower. Yes, I love it. It is absolutely a superpower.
Creativity got us into this mess, and creativity will get us out of it. The problem is, not everyone sees themselves as creative, or sees the work they do as creative. Even though each of the interviewees were able to describe the creative parts of their jobs, they had a hard time defining creativity. Maybe that's because it shows up differently for each person. And yes, sometimes humanity's great ideas cause more problems, which is why it is critical to encourage risk-taking, embrace failure, build confidence, and never undermine self-expression. So why do people feel they aren't creative? It seems that education puts an emphasis on certain subjects, with mathematics and languages being more important and the arts being undervalued or even cut from the curriculum altogether. Intelligence and academic ability are graded through a system of black and white, right and wrong. And the result is that brilliant and creative people think they are not. My proposal is that academics and creativity should be valued at the same status especially since we need creativity more than ever today. Our jobs as people who lead and teach is to treat children as the hope that they are and to educate them without penalizing wrong answers. This is how we will create change. And in this way, we will use creativity as a superpower.